Hi, this is Raman, your tutor from Alberta Real Estate School. In today's video, we will go over and dissect some of the questions that you may have come across in your quizzes and activities. I get sent a lot of questions from people asking me, what does this really mean? Why did I get this question wrong? So today I decided that we will just take a look at the questions and see exactly what the answer should be and why that should be the answer. So let's take a look.
In this video, we will take a look at some of the real estate questions. These are questions that you would have seen in your quizzes or activities, and we will just dive deeper into these questions. These are questions that were sent to me by some of the students, so I thought I will discuss it with everyone because these things are important to understand when you're preparing for your exam. All right, so let's take a look at question number 1. Which of the following statements best describes the concept of scalable enforcement under RECA's Professional Conduct Review Program? So Professional Conduct Review Program is when RECA is investigating a person. If they have received a complaint against a real estate professional, they will start an investigation, and that's our Professional Conduct Review Program. So under that program, RECA will sanction the person. They can put an administrative penalty on it. The person's license can also get suspended. So that's what we're talking about. And RECA uses this concept of scalable enforcement, which means in the beginning, first they will start with a simpler sanction, or they may give somebody an advisory note that you made a mistake. For example, so let's say somebody was running an ad and they forgot to put the brokerage information on the ad. So in this case, RECA may send them an advisory note letting them know that they have made a technical mistake and they're supposed to have the brokerage information on the ad. But if the person continues with the same behavior and they do not fix that issue, next time the sanction will be more. So they may get a letter of reprimand, or it may be an administrative penalty. So which means that as the person keeps repeating the mistake, they will actually have higher level of sanction. So let's take a look at the options here. Which of the following statement best describes the concept of scalable enforcement under RECA's Professional Conduct Review Program? So option A is RECA will consult with the courts and other governing bodies to impose disciplinary sanctions. Or option B, disciplinary sanctions will be first carried out by the brokers and then refer to RECA if the same infraction occurs. Option C, industry professionals will receive sanctions that can and will escalate upon future occurrences of the same activity. Or option D, failing to comply with the brokerage policies and procedures will result in monetary fines that increase with each breach. And the correct answer here is C. So in this case, basically, RECA will put an easier sanction. And then if the person does not change their behavior and they keep repeating the same mistake, the sanctions will be higher. So they will escalate upon future occurrences of the same activity. Question number 2. Which of the following statements is an example of an inappropriate inducement? And the options are A, a brokerage agrees to pay the buyer's moving cost to close a transaction. A brokerage ad states that it will pay the appraisal fee for all the first-time home buyers. Option C, a real estate professional agrees to pay the first mortgage payment to get the new business. Or D, a real estate professional pays for the seller's window repair to make the sale. In this case, the correct answer is D. So in this case, they're asking us which of the following is an inappropriate inducement. So first of all, definition of inducement is anything that is offered by a brokerage to get someone to sign a deal, to close the transaction. So that's an inducement. Now, in order to find an inappropriate inducement, let's take a look here. So in the first option, brokerage agrees to pay the moving cost to close a transaction. This is actually an appropriate inducement. So for an appropriate inducement, it has to come from the brokerage, not a real estate professional. In this case, they are closing a transaction. So it is an inducement and paying for a moving cost. So that is definitely a correct thing. So it's an appropriate inducement. Second here, brokerage ad states that they will pay for the appraisal fees. This is also an appropriate inducement. Brokerage is paying the fees, and first-time home buyers, that means they have purchased the property. So they're closing the transaction. So that's appropriate. The option C here, real estate professional agrees to pay the first mortgage payment to get new business. So this is where a lot of students get confused because this looks like it's incorrect. But so in this case, it is incorrect because a real estate professional should not be offering an inducement or an incentive. But the reason this is not the correct answer here is because they're talking about to get new business. When we are referring to getting new business, that is actually an incentive. So this would be an example of an inappropriate incentive, not an inducement. That's why that option doesn't apply. So the correct option in this case is a real estate professional offering to pay for the seller's window repair to make the sale. So real estate professional cannot offer an inducement. It has to come from the brokerage. That's why it's an inappropriate inducement. Okay, let's take a look at next question here. Which of the following applies to the payment of referral fees? Okay, so referral fees. A real estate brokerage may be paid referral fees by mortgage brokerage. Real estate professionals may pay referral fees to mortgage brokerage professionals. Real estate professionals may pay referral fees to unlicensed individuals if a broker approves. Or D, real estate professionals may be paid referral fees by mortgage brokerages. In this case, the correct answer is A. All right, so referral fees, we are allowed to pay referral fees. However, referral fees have to be paid through the brokerage. We cannot pay another person a referral fee ourselves. It has to be paid through the brokerage. So real estate professionals cannot pay referral fees to mortgage professionals directly. It would go from a real estate brokerage to mortgage brokerage and then to the mortgage broker. So if somebody were to refer, if a mortgage broker was to refer business to a real estate agent, in that case, it will go from real estate brokerage to mortgage brokerage to that person. And that's why the first option is correct and the second one is not, because we cannot pay the mortgage fee we cannot pay the referral fee directly. Option C here, real estate professionals may pay referral fees to unlicensed individuals if the broker approves. So that's not correct. So what we are looking at here is we can pay referral fees. So brokerage can pay referral fees to unlicensed individuals. So for example, if you have a friend and the friend tells you that they know somebody who wants to list their property, and in this case, they refer you to that person. Once you close the transaction, you sell their property, you can then ask your brokerage, you will have to fill out a form and give it to the brokerage. You can ask the brokerage and brokerage can pay a referral fee to that person, to the unlicensed person. So in this case, you're allowed to do that. However, the confusion comes when it's an unlicensed person who is doing an activity or performing an activity that requires a license. For example, if somebody comes to you and says, I will bring you clients or leads if you pay me a commission split, 25% commission split. So in this case, if the person is running ads under their own name, that is an activity that requires a license. So we are not allowed to pay that person referral fees, even through the brokerage, right? So in this case, if it's an unlicensed person and they're not soliciting clients, then we can pay them referral fee. They just happen to know someone. However, if they're going out there and soliciting business or facilitating a transaction, in that case, they need a license and therefore we cannot pay them a referral fee. And then, so that covers our option C. Option D here, real estate professionals may be paid referral fee by mortgage brokerages. We cannot accept any kind of compensation or referral fees or commission split from another brokerage. We can only get paid through our own brokerage. So in this case, if the mortgage brokerage wanted to pay us a referral fee, it would go from mortgage broker to the brokerage, to our real estate brokerage, and then to us. So that's how real estate referral fees work. They go from brokerage to brokerage, not directly. All right, let's take a look at another question. Which of the following disclosures are required by a brokerage when one of its real estate professionals wants to purchase a property that the brokerage has listed for sale? So in this case, we are talking about conflict of interest. If you wanted to buy a property that your brokerage has listed, that means another agent in your brokerage has listed their seller's property for sale, and you wanted to buy it, what kind of disclosures would you have to do? All right, so let's take a look at options here. Option A is disclose to the client the name of the real estate professional. Option B, disclose to the client the existence of a conflict of interest. Disclose to the client the opportunity to seek independent advice, or D, all of the above. So in this case, the correct answer is D. So if a real estate professional wanted to buy a property that is listed by another agent in the same brokerage, that means the brokerage is representing the seller. So in this case, we would have to do some disclosures, and we would have to disclose the name of the real estate professional who is involved. We would have to say there is a conflict of interest, and the client will have the opportunity, or we have to provide them the opportunity to seek independent advice on how to proceed. And that's why our correct answer here is D, all of the above. Question number 5. The rules require an individual trading in real estate to hold an authorization with RECA unless they're exempt. Which of the following is not exempt? Option A, a person acting directly by statute or court order to dispose of a property. A bank, credit union, loan corporation, trust corporation, or insurance company administering real estate. A full-time assistant that holds open houses for a real estate professional. Or D, a member in good standing of the Law Society of Alberta when in practice of law. So in this case, the correct answer is C. So let's take a look at all the options one at a time. So who is not exempt? That's the question. So a person who is acting based on a court order, and they are auctioning of the property, or it's some sort of a foreclosure and they're dealing with the property, that person does not require a license. Anything under the court order does not require a license because they're only working with one particular property that the court is dealing with. So they don't require a license. Generally, when there's a foreclosure or anything like that, they will hire a real estate professional to represent. And that's why we don't have to worry about it. So anything under the court is completely exempt. Also, any kind of bank, credit union, loan corporation, all these type of companies are allowed to provide mortgages. Normally, you would require a license from RECA or authorization from RECA in order to do mortgages. However, in this case, these companies fall under their own regulation. So for example, if it's an insurance company, Manulife, they give out mortgages, but they would fall under the Insurance Act, and therefore they don't have to go through RECA under the Real Estate Act. Or for example, a bank or a credit union, they have their own banking regulation or credit union regulations that they fall under, and therefore they are exempt from RECA authorization because they already have a similar regulation that they fall under. And then let's take a look at option D. Option D is a lawyer, basically. We will work with lawyers in closing the transactions, and lawyers do not fall under RECA's jurisdiction, again, because they are under the Law Society of Alberta. They have their own rules that apply to them. And in case of option C, So this is important here, a full-time assistant that holds open houses for a real estate professional. Now, the problem here is a full-time assistant is not allowed to do open houses. So this is act in person. When we have contract with somebody, we are the ones who are supposed to act on behalf of that person. We are the one with authorization. If a person is working as a full-time assistant, that means they're unlicensed and they're not allowed to do open houses for us. They're not allowed to represent a client. They're not allowed to sign a contract. They are not allowed to do any of those things. So all those activities require a license. So that's why a full-time assistant would not be able to do this transaction. They would need a license, so they're not exempt. Next question, which of the following statements is correct regarding the Real Estate Act rules? Select the correct option. So option 1, rules may only be amended by the provincial legislature. RECA posts the most current version of the rules on its website. Rules refer to the standards of practice for industry professionals. 4, when contemplating amendments to the rules, RECA consults with industry professionals and stakeholders. So in this case, multiple statements are correct. Option A is statements 1, 2, and 3. Option B, statements 2, 3, and 4. And option C, statements 1, 3, and 4. And D, all of the above, all statements. So in this case, the correct answer here is B, which means the statements 2, 3, and 4 are correct. So when amendments happen to the rules, RECA is allowed to amend the rules and bylaws. They don't have to go through the provincial legislature. We only have to go through the provincial legislature if there are any sort of amendments required to the Real Estate Act. Only provincial legislature can amend the Real Estate Act. However, rules and bylaws can be amended by RECA. So therefore, the first option is not correct. But the other options, RECA will post most current version of the rules on their website. Rules are the standards of practice that we have to follow in our day-to-day. So they apply to all real industry professionals. And then anytime when RECA wants to do changes, they will consult industry professionals, they will consult us, they will get feedback from all the professionals who would be in that industry, plus the stakeholders. Therefore, option B is correct. So 1 is the one that is incorrect here. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like any help in passing your Alberta real estate exams or mortgage brokerage exams, I invite you to visit our website, www.albertarealestateschool.com, or you can give us a call at 587-936-7779. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.